August 16th, 2013. Okay, last night was weird and, well, I technically didn't necessarily kill my girl like I had planned. It was, well, I can't sum it up into a few short words. I'll have to explain. So, the girl I tracked was named Chrissy, and I had met her in a cafe a couple days before I killed Emily. Chrissy seemed kind of sad, so I bought her a hot chocolate and got to talking with her. She had had a rough life, but as respect to her memory, I'm not going to disclose that information. Anyway, hanging out with me seemed to cheer her up, and I'll admit, I got sort of a girl crush on her. I'm too old, though. She gave me her address so we could hang out together. I've gone over about 2 times before the weekend, and she's a very sad young girl. Her mother is almost never home, and the one time I saw her, she was passed out on the couch, drunk. We arranged for me to sleep over last night, and that's when I had planned to kill her. Don't get me wrong, I loved her like we had been friends for years, but that's just the way I am, I suppose. So we got all cute, packing my panda backpack with necessary implements for slaughter, but of course it looked like I had packed extra clothes and stuff. Then I headed over around 6 o'clock. As expected, her mother wasn't there. Chrissy was extremely happy to see me, but it actually looked like she had been crying. "Are you all right?" I asked her when we went to her room. Chrissy nodded, but I didn't believe her for a second. I suddenly spotted a bloody razor blade on her desk and pointed at it. "Chrissy, what's that?" "Nothing," she replied, and quickly hid it in her desk drawer. I narrowed my eyes and grabbed her, pulling the sleeves of her black shirt up. On her left wrist, there were fresh cuts amidst numerous scars. "Why did you do this?" I asked her, and I felt pain in my heart that she'd hurt herself like that. Chrissy sighed, not meeting my gaze. "There's something I haven't told you," she said, and I let her arm go. I want to kill myself." A tiny part of me thought this ironic, but most of me became concerned. "Why?" I asked, stroking her dyed black hair comfortingly. "You've heard my story. You've seen my mom," she exclaimed, looking as if she was going to cry again. "I have next to no friends because they think I'm a witch or satanic or something, just because I dress in all black and stuff. I hate my life. I'm so depressed. I just don't want to live anymore." Chrissy started sobbing, and I felt a lump in my own throat. "Chrissy," I cooed, "what about me? I'm your friend. And look at me. I'm such a girly girl. I don't think you're a satanic witch." "But you can't always be with me," she said, sniffling. "Mom hits me. Kids at school yell at me and make fun of me. And they jumped me, too. They hurt me. It's not that I don't want your friendship, Lizzie. I want to be set free." I stared at her, lips pressed firmly together, thinking hard. "Are you sure you want to die?" I asked slowly. Chrissy nodded. "But I'm scared," she said, wiping her nose on her sleeve. "Believe it or not, I'm afraid of the pain. Even though I cut myself, I don't seem to feel it. I know," I told her. "I've harmed myself many times, but out of fun, not sadness." This made Chrissy giggle slightly. "You're weird," she said, and I smiled as well. "What if I help you?" I asked her, and she blinked at me. "What if I can help you kill yourself in a way that won't hurt you?" "Can you really do that?" Chrissy asked, almost in awe. "Well, yeah," I said. "There's lots of ways to do it. Let's see, do you have sleeping pills and a garage with a car in it?" "I have Advil PM, but no garage, and Mom has the car," she said. "Oh," I said. "Okay. Well, we still have sleeping pills. We could have you fall from a building." "But I'm scared!" Chrissy exclaimed. "I know," I said quickly. "But if you take a bunch of sleeping pills, you'll be too drowsy and I can push you." "Are you sure I won't feel it?" she asked tentatively. "Well, I have chloroform. We can use that to be safe." "Why do you have chloroform?" "I was gonna kill you." Chrissy stared at me, but didn't seem shocked or scared. "Why?" she said. "I thought you liked me." "I do," I said immediately. "But, Chrissy, that's just who I am. That's why I don't have friends, 'cause I end up killing them. I'm a serial killer." Her lips parted slightly, staring at me, seemingly impressed. "Remember that boy found dead with a duck in his heart?" "Yes," she said slowly. "That was me," I said with a smile. "Wow, nice work," she replied. But I'd be scared if you tried to actually murder me. Death is a scary thing, I said. Even if you want to die, you can be very scared. But since I'm your friend, I want to help you kill yourself instead. And I'll make sure you won't feel a thing. You're going to help set me free then? Chrissy said with a small smile. Precisely, I giggled. It's not murder this time, it's mercy. Chrissy ran out of the room with a squeak, and I hoisted my backpack over my shoulder. I found Chrissy in the bathroom, looking through her cupboard. She grabbed a bottle of Advil PM with an aha and turned to me. Should I write a suicide letter? She said. I think it's traditional, I replied. So I helped her write her letter. Again, I won't share it out of respect. We left it on the kitchen table and then walked out of the house. Where do you want to jump from? I inquired. What's the tallest building nearest to us? She asked. I think it's the LA Live Hotels and Condominiums building, I replied thoughtfully. That one would be easy to get to the top without attracting any suspicion or sneaking around than in an office building or something. Good idea. So the two of us walked to the massive building and went inside. Chrissy and I took the elevator to the highest floor, but we did have to sneak through the doors and passages to the very top and onto the roof. I was afraid of heights, so I tried not to look down. We sat a few feet from the edge, and Chrissy took a box and a thermos from the bag she had been carrying. One last hanging out session before I go, she said. I brought crackers and hot chocolate because that's the most luxurious food I had in my house. No wonder you're so pale and skinny, I said with a sad smile. We snacked on the Ritz crackers and drank hot chocolate. She had told me she brought it because that was what she drank when she met me. I was feeling sadder and sadder by the minute, but I wasn't going to back down from helping her. I now felt that if she had decided at that moment to not go through with it, I'd never, ever kill her and would love her forever. They say every living creature on this earth dies alone, and I want to make sure she doesn't feel alone for a single second before and during her death. Chrissy took 2 sleeping pills to start. We decided that taking a bunch at one time might cause her to throw up, and that'd make her feel awful. We talked and laughed, and when she started getting drowsy, I gave her another dose. I hugged her, trying to swallow the golf ball in my throat. No matter what, I whispered, I will always love you, Chrissy. She was too drowsy to respond, but I know she heard me because she gave my upper arm a firm squeeze. Finally, I gave her a 3rd dose after her breathing became very slow. My heart was breaking as I waited another 15 minutes before dabbing some chloroform on a cloth, holding it to her nose until I was sure she was passed out. Goodbye, I whispered in her ear, giving her one last hug. I carefully laid her on the edge, closed my eyes, and pushed. A few seconds later, I heard the impact of her body hitting the concrete below. There were sudden screams, and I started gasping softly, gathering all my things and exiting the door on the roof. I took the elevator to the ground floor, my eyes shut the entire time. When I came out of the building, there was a crowd of people around Chrissy's bleeding form. I pushed through to see her, and finally started sobbing uncontrollably. There was a smile on her face. If she hadn't been bloody and mangled, she could have been in a deep, peaceful sleep. Then I couldn't stop myself from running forward, dropping to my knees and holding her limp body. I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel guilty because this was what she wanted. But I still lost her. She was gone. I've never had a friend that I decided I didn't want to murder. If she had changed her mind, she would have been my best friend for life. She didn't even care that I was a murderer. She would have probably been my assistant. Police showed up and saw me crying and holding Chrissy tight. They took me aside as they removed her body from the scene and questioned me. I told them everything except that I had helped her, that I had even been up there. No one seemed to have noticed that we had even taken the elevator together. I still couldn't control my sobbing as I told them that she was suicidal, and lied about going to her house only to find that no one was home and there was a suicide letter on the table. A few cops came with me to her house and we found her mother sobbing over the letter. The cops read it dismally while I rubbed Chrissy's mother's back. She had cared after all. She kept repeating, "I'm sorry, Chrissy. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." You never know you love something so much until you've lost it. And that's the story. Chrissy's funeral is in a few days, and I'm going to go buy a very pretty black dress to wear. I think I'll find some fake black roses to put in her coffin with her. She'd have liked that. Sweet little goth girl. Her mother had allowed me to sit in Chrissy's room, soaking up everything that was hers. I may have only known her for a short time, but it was still so painful. She loved me, and she wanted to be my friend, but I understand that she couldn't handle life anymore. A good friend will set their friend free from their cage. It'd be selfish to make them stay. Rest in peace, Chrissy.